Many business owners grow up dreaming of launching their first business. Some launch before growing up. Welcome to Expert Connections. I'm Julie Holton. Little kids with big ideas and guidance from experts who are here today to share their stories. John Mashni of Foster Swift joins us for our Legal Connections segment today, along with Jesse Flores of SuperWebPros. Both of you are here, not just as business owners and experts, but also as fathers who passed along this entrepreneurship gene, if that's a thing, to your kids. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
John, last year you released the funniest children's book. I actually gifted it to my nieces and nephew for Christmas, and they had a blast, especially reading it out loud to their papa. Tell us the title and storyline, John, and what made you want to write a book with your children?
Okay, thank you. First of all, I'm glad the kids loved it. So essentially, it's the story of Cinderella, except instead of when the clock strikes midnight and she has to leave the ball, she runs down the steps, and instead of losing her glass slipper, she picks up her glass slipper, but she bends over and she passes gas. She toots, right? And so then she runs off in the carriage, disappears, and all the prince has to identify his true love is not a glass slipper, it's the smell of her toot. And of course, then the prince has to go around the kingdom asking all the maidens to toot, to pass gas, to find the smell of his true love. It's called Cinder Toot. And it really came from me telling a story to my kids at night to get them to go to sleep. And we never intended for anyone else to find out about this crazy, silly story. I thought my law firm would fire me when we published it. And of course, now here we are talking about it. So essentially, it was a way for me, not necessarily to make money, but to teach my kids how to be entrepreneurs and how to take a crazy idea, even a silly one, and turn it into a business. And we've used that as a way to teach our kids how to start a business, how to give from the proceeds, how to create something, how to hire people, how to work with people. It's been an incredible process, and the kids have been involved in every single step of the way.
And John, what are the ages of your kids?
11, 9, 7, or 11, 11, 9, 7, and 4. So it's crazy.
I bet, especially having, it's like ruled by committee, having, all of your children weighing in on all of these big decisions. What an experience for them. Jesse, you also created a really cool experience for your daughter at the start of the pandemic. Tell us about her business and why you helped her launch it.
Yeah, probably it wasn't nearly so entertaining. Actually, this came more out of my school is shut down, and I've got a child with a lot of energy who wants a lot of attention, and I'm trying to get work done. And realizing, this kid can also be productive. So, this started out actually as a way for me to teach her some skills, because schools were shut down. It started out as a way for me to teach her some skills in web development, technology management, all that kind of stuff that I think she's going to need to know at some point in the future. And so it started out with me teaching her some basic things like how to build and manage some WordPress websites and some stuff in Canva. And that started to spawn the idea for her to maybe do her own e-commerce store. And so that ultimately led to us starting a store called unicorn.com, OOHNICORN.com, where she does all the product development. She's organized all the information all the stuff that goes on there. It's a drop shipping website, but also there's some custom print on demand components to it as well. And so it was a fun way for her to start realizing, oh man, I can do these things. I don't have to be a grown-up to learn how to do a lot of this kind of stuff online. And for us to get to work together to be able to make this thing happen.
That really changes the storyline of what did you do over summer break? Like, oh, well, I launched my first business. What a cool story. Any learning curves, Jesse? I imagine that maybe there's something you learned along the way, something Gabby learned along the way.
Yeah, so many things. Patience is one of them. No, there were so many things that we learned, and I think actually one of the most important lessons that she learned, and I think is still learning it because she's got her own things now. She's trying to do it in middle school at her school. Is that at some level, product development is the easiest thing that you have to do as a business. Customer development is by far the more difficult thing, especially when you're starting off with no resources and no channels. And I think that's one of the biggest things that she's had to learn, and that she's still learning, and that frankly, all of our customers are still learning, which is that providing the service is important and it's difficult, but finding customers is the harder part. And so how does that work and what does that look like? And that's, I think, been a fun thing for her to realize and spend some time learning. And certainly for me to figure out how do I take some of the things that we learn how to do and translate them in a way that an 11-year-old can understand.
Well, and I have a feeling she can tune in later in the show for the marketing connections segment where her expert dad is talking about user experience and how to, build that out on a website. John, how has this experience affected your family?
It's been honestly incredible. For me personally, I spend this time with my kids writing stories, and right now we're actually capturing the stories that I've already told them. I asked them what book should we release next, and they had a 5-minute argument about which story they like the best. By the way, Santa 2 is the next one. And
there's a theme here.
Yeah, that's right.
For
yes.
Christmas.
For Christmas, it'll be ready, right? But ultimately, it's been so rewarding. We said we're going to give away a percentage of all the money that comes in, and I said, you guys pick the charities, and they named 3 charities. I didn't even know they'd heard of these. But it's just incredible that they picked where the money was going to go. And we paid it together. And I said, this is what you do. We give money. We make money through our stories. We give people joy through the stories. And then we tell more stories so we can give more money away. It's just been so rewarding. And the kids have loved every single minute of it. And just when they see their names in the books, they just beam. And I think that's completely irreplaceable as a dad.
What a valuable lesson here in all of this. All right, John, I know this is an impossible question to answer in less than a minute, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What is one piece of advice for other parents who might be now thinking about launching a business with their children?
I would say do it. I think your life is short. And I think one of the great tragedies in life is that you don't get to spend the prime years of your life with your kids. Your kids never get to see you do what you do for most people. And that's what motivated me to start something with my kids, because I wanted them to be around me at a time where I'm healthy, right? I'm vibrant, hopefully. And I think there's just no better time. There's no time more valuable than right now. And, take advantage of that time if you have kids and you want to have the joy of those special moments together.
Next week, we're going to dive deeper into what it actually takes with John to launch a business for entrepreneurs of all ages. In the meantime, check out resources from Jesse and his daughter. They created a video blog to help other kids and their parents. And John also has resources all on our website. Head to expertconnections.tv. Just click Legal Connections. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.